Yo, what up? How's it going? And welcome back. Today we'll be doing a VoD review for G2 versus Vitality. This is for week 4, day 1 of the LEC Spring Split 2019. Cool. So we'll just get right into it. So first we'll talk about the bans, and then we'll talk about the team comps of each team. Quickly, if we'll just talk about the bans, I just want to talk about anything that kind of sticks out. So bans are mostly standard. The only things that stick out a little bit are the Silas ban. That's specifically, so Silas didn't work out too much for the people that picked it in the LEC, but that's specifically the target ban for Caps, because he looks pretty good on it based off of if anybody watched his stream. So people don't necessarily want to see him picking that champion. And also, Vitality probably didn't know what specifically they wanted out of their own draft. It seems like maybe they didn't have a for sure game plan they wanted. I know they wanted their strong bot lane that they wanted, but not specifically what other champions they wanted to win their draft. So they probably didn't base that ban based off of the ultimates that they were going to have, because they don't have hugely impactful ultimates other than probably, you know, the Rumble ultimate, and maybe the Braum ultimate. The Olaf ultimate is okay, I guess, but you know, you kind of don't really care all that much about the Lucian LeBlanc ultimate. Lucian ultimate's okay, but anyways, that was more of a target ban towards Caps because he seems pretty clean on that champion. But it seemed like a good ban there. The other ban that was kind of interesting was the Jace ban. Seems more like a targeted ban strategy for G2's poke strategy that they did literally on the first day of the LEC that they showed that they can play the full poke with the Karthus in there. And they obviously can have a split push threat with either Caps or Wunder, so that's a ban in there. Maybe could have just switched it out with the Akali, because on this patch, honestly, I think there's not a whole lot of counterplay to Akali. So I would have liked to have seen an Akali ban there rather than Jace in the first rotation, and maybe just Jace in the second rotation. So I don't know. Maybe switch that ban out, but Jace is a fine ban as well. The only other ban that was just a little bit out of place, in my opinion, was just a Rise in the first rotation on blue side, which is a little interesting. Would have maybe rather have seen Lissandra ban, but Lissandra ended up just skipping through the entire pick ban phase anyways, so that didn't really matter anyways. But Lissandra is a direct pick into Akali usually, and they wanted a first round Akali anyway, so. Just an interesting thing there just to see, but different regions have different metas. So anyways, cool. So we'll just talk about team comps now and what team comps want to do. So G2 has a team comp or a team fighting comp, right? So it's a pretty standard team fighting comp. So obvious strengths in the team fighting, and obvious one item and 2 item power spikes here. So obvious Gunblade and 2 item power spikes, and then obvious like super disruption abilities with the Akali and Jarvan, so they can have super explosive engages and disruptions in team fights. And this is a team comp that can move really forward without having to worry about their backline, because their backline is an Ezreal and a Karthus. So it's an Ezreal and a Karthus who you don't have to worry about peeling, because Ezreal has self-peel, right? Ezreal can jump around the fight however they want. So a Thresh can freely move forward with the divers, and then Karthus literally wants to die too. So he doesn't care if he dies. And can be part of the engage as well. You know, he wants to move forward as well. So so they have a move forward, explosive type of team comp, and you don't really have to peel back. Another thing that's good about their comp is they have they have a lot of options with their team comp. So they have a lot of options with that they can look for. They can look for like a 4-1 with an Akali. With an Akali splitting off on the side lane and looking for 1v1s that aren't really true 1v1s, because Akali can just look for kills with a Karthus just channeling ultimate. So if they track the jungler and track the rest of the team pretty well, then Akali can feel really safe looking for kills, knowing that she has the extra like 300 to 600 damage coming in with a Karthus ultimate. So they can run like really interesting combos like that, as well as like an Ezreal coming in with his ultimate as well. So they have a lot of like interesting things they can do with their comps. They can run like a 4-1, a pure team fight, or they can run a split push comp. So they have a couple different options within the mid game. Cool. So let's talk about And so I'll quickly talk about what they want to do with their team comp in the early game. So they kind of just want to farm it out in the early game, right? They want to get Jankos to level 6, obviously. Caps in his lane wants to farm it out. Don't really have a lot of kill pressure till level 6. And then they have the, he gets level 6 and he has a lot of kill pressure with the Karthus ultimate and his level 6 versus Jiizuké, right? So they want to farm it out for all their high impact level 6 champions, right? Jarvan, Karthus, Akali, high impact level 6 champions. Karthus actually has a lot of really good gank setup with the Ezreal Thresh. So Karthus usually doesn't have very good gank setup with any lanes, except for if you have a champion that can literally gap close for you. So Thresh can gap close for you, so a lot of good gank setup for a bot lane. So you can actually look for ganks in the bottom lane at earliest as level 4. So can look for ganks there, but mostly they just want to farm up for a big explosive mid game, like mid game explosion. That's mainly what they're looking for. So farming up for the big mid game team fights, and then individual kills with the Karthus Akali J4 is what they're mainly looking for, and they just kind of blow the game out of the water from there. What they're looking for. Cool. All right, so let's look over at Vitality's draft. So so Vitality drafted a really strong bot side, so a lot of kill potential with Lucian Braum. Won't necessarily have like lane push with Lucian Braum versus Ezreal Thresh. So Ezreal Thresh does have some kill pressure onto Lucian Braum. It's kind of a skill lane, but favoring Lucian Braum in terms of like kill pressure, but somewhat of a skill lane with the Ezreal Thresh. And has a decent lane or decent gank setup with Olaf, especially being on red side, since the Tri-Brush is going to be behind the Ezreal and Thresh, can have really good gank setup. So the Olaf can actually path behind the lane. So that's why they draft. So that's why on red side they drafted a really powerful laning bot lane, like really powerful kill pressure bot lane, not necessarily push bot lane. So a kill pressure bot lane with a fighting jungler in the early game, so that makes a lot of sense with that type of draft. And then a fighting mid laner, so a powerful skirmishing mid laner. And then so the top lane pick in terms of just the pure 1v1 doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So even Blupo talked about it, and I've actually played this matchup specifically a lot. I play a lot of J4. This specific matchup, because they had the counter pick with the last pick. So typically you save your last pick for a counter pick when you're on red side. This is a pretty decent matchup for J4, so J4 does fine into this matchup. Sometimes he can get pushed in a little bit, but J4 actually has kill pressure into this matchup, whereas Rumble doesn't really. But what Rumble does offer in this game is a lot of zone control for whenever Akali and J4 want to move forward, can offer some zone control, so there's that going for them. I think teams get baited by the Olaf pick a lot. So Olaf, when you pick Olaf, there's a couple things that you want to do with Olaf. There's a couple options that you can do. You can have a full court press, so you can have like 3 winning lanes, and then full court press where you're just rampaging into the enemy jungle, controlling all neutral objectives, and just rampaging and taking all the turret plates, and just like never like just putting the gas full on. They're not going to be able to do that with how the team comp is set up, right? Just based off of the lane matchups. And then the other way that you can set it up, other ways that you can set it up is full objective control, and then control one side of the map, which they can do with this game. So they can have a full control of bot side of the map in terms of kill pressure, and have control over the Drake. So I think that's what they want to have set up with this game, and I think that's what they actually do. I think it's a decent setup with Vitality. I think this is how you attack a G2, is you need to draft early and try to pick a winning side of the map and try to snowball. So this is a snowball type of team comp. So I think you try to snowball. Vitality doesn't necessarily pull it off, but let's watch it and see kind of how it goes. We're gonna watch this in ×2 speed, and try to and slow it down at some certain parts. I'll move my camera around too, so it won't be in the middle of the screen. Let's put this down here. Okay. I'm gonna put the speed in 1.5 for a minute, because I want to talk about jungle pathing. Jungle pathing is always super important to me. I wanna figure out where Olaf starts. Olaf generally starts on blue because you expend a lot of mana. You expend a lot of mana and you want to start Machete because it makes your query a lot quicker. And that's just generally like, but I'm not really interested in why he's starting it like that. Just more interested on how he's going to end up bot side, because I know that he does, but I just want to remember. I want to see how he does that efficiently. It's a pretty standard start for Karthus. Starts blue side. See how Mowgli gets bottom side. I know there's a little trade. Yeah. Yep. So LeBlanc gets the push in the mid lane usually. All right. So Olaf's doing a full clear on his bottom side. Okay. It looks like Olaf's just going to go for a full clear. I think what he wants to do is he just goes for a full clear and then he resets so he can go for a bot side gank and then his camps will be up. So that makes a lot of sense. I think that's what I think that is what Mowgli wants to do. All right, so they go for a level 2 play. They don't quite get the final stack on Perkz, so the play doesn't work out. Ooh, lose both of their flashes there. Feels bad. They didn't quite get the last stack. Feels bad. If you just want to look at the items real quick, so if you see Lucian has the Dorn's Ring. If you've been watching LCS or Korea or EU or anything like that, they've explained this many times, but I'll explain it one more time real quick. The reason why you take Dorn's Ring is you can take the person who I want to say Viper first started doing it, is you can take Dorn's Ring and then you can take 3 points in your Ardent Blaze and your W. And the AP ratio is 90%, so the poking damage on it is actually a lot. So if you're laning against someone who's going to poke you a lot, you can actually trade evenly in the poke, and then you have a really good mana sustain. So it makes a lot of sense. That's why people take it. So you don't max W, but you take 3 points in it. Alright, so Jankos is like kind of looking for a lane gank if he can get it off, but it's pointed out by Vision. So as I said, this is the only lane where he has really good gank setup. The other lanes, there's not really very good gank setup. I mean, Jarvan, you can maybe Jarvan at level 6 you look for gank setup because Jarvan can lock Rumble into his little dungeon and you can just flash on him. So yeah, so as I said, like look how Mowgli set it up. So Mowgli set up this gank path by he started bottom side at the beginning of the game, right? So he started bottom side, did a full clear up the top side, reset, got his Predator boots and blue smite, right? And then path behind G2's bottom lane, can go for a gank, right? He can go for a gank on bottom side, and then his camps will respawn. His Gromp and his Wolves will respawn, so he actually doesn't miss anything. So he's being really time efficient. So it's really good pathing, actually. Really good pathing. Boom. Good luck in esports. Yep, and look, now his Gromp is back up. So that was actually really good pathing. Had that gank not have worked, that would have been really bad. So would have been nice to see G2 get some wards behind them, because they should know with this draft. That should have been something discussed in the pregame. With this draft, they should have thought at pregame, like what lane do they look to attack when they're picking an Olaf draft? Like what lane do you think Olaf is going to attack? It's obviously going to be the bot lane. I mean, they draft that in the first phase. They drafted the most powerful skirmishing bot lane, Lucian Braum, and at level 2 they tried to get your flashes, right? So they're right. So in that moment you should realize, oh, they're gonna try to kill us. That's their game plan, is to try to kill us. So I mean, mid lane's playing super safe, top lane's playing super safe. So the game plan should have been get a pink ward behind us. So someone like Jankos or Mikyx should have been getting a ward behind us. I mean, they didn't have time to get a recall to put a pink ward behind us, but should have been more mindful of that maybe. Not necessarily get a pink ward, but get a normal vision ward, or already get your base off and get a pink ward. Just next level thinking. Next level. Avoid a death like that. That's what separates that's what separates like a team like G2 from a team like Griffin. If G2 wants to get to that next level, we gotta be really analytical. You know what I'm saying? This was obviously Vitality's plan in this play. Good play by Vitality though. Alright, Mowgli's getting his full clear going. His Krug should be respawning soon. Game pause. How long is this game pause? Okay, we're back in. What level is Karthus now? Level 5? I think he gets level 6 off this. You usually get level 6 if you get both crabs. I think he's gotten 2 crabs. Yes. Alright, yeah, he got 2 crabs and full clear. 2 crabs, full clear gets you level 6. Yeah, and this is a really good gank setup. I want to say they get a kill off this. You can get gank set up with Thresh. Another thing, yep. There we go. Oh yeah, this is where Perkz misses so many things. Yeah, he autoed the wrong person. That was funny. Nice kill, nice kill. This is pretty nice. This is really smart. This was really smart. This was a team play. But since they were working for a play there, this is like a standard jungle play, right? So since he knows his blue buff's coming up and Mowgli sees the bottom side, then Mowgli goes, okay, I'm going to go invade the blue buff. And this was just a really good team play by G2, is that Wunder goes ahead and rotates down to the blue buff to defend the blue buff since he pushed in the top lane. This is just smart team play. To like look for this kill. See if it actually works out though. Yeah, it works out. I believe so. Boom. A little bit of a greedy play by Mowgli, maybe. And they get 1, right? Yeah, so it's a 2 for 1. Oh no, it's a 3 for 1. Yeah, a greedy play. Greedy play. Oof. Oof, oof, oof. Yeah, you don't have priority in top lane, so... You don't have priority in top lane, mid lane's kind of even priority-wise. It's a smart play by G2. Bad play by Vitality. I mean, it's like a normal jungle play, but... Like, that's like a normal jungle play that you do, like, in your solo queue games. But don't have lane priority top lane, right? You don't have lane priority top lane, and mid lane's in a neutral position, so you're going to get collapsed on. They didn't have vision of that. That's just like, you know, intuition. Boom. Doing it. Rip. Rest in peace, Cabochard. Here comes Mowgli. Good play by Vitality's bot lane. Quick rotation down by G2. Yeah, and Wunder's just going to rotate down to catch the wave. Bottom. See, so I'm saying this, see, J4 can actually get the push on Rumble. So J4 just gets the push on Rumble, and then he moves down to catch the mid wave. So G2 is able to make that response play, because after you get some items on Akali can actually push up this lane. So Akali just push ups the lane into a neutral position at least, right? And then can actually rotate to respond to this aggressive play. And then J4 can actually shove up the lane and then move down to receive the wave. That's why he's answering the wave right now. Is it going to be a net positive play for Vitality, I believe. They get a plate. They get a plate and 2 kills, right? And then what does G2 get in return? G2 just gets 1 kill? Yeah, net positive play for Vitality for sure. Good play by Vitality. That's what they want to do with their bot lane. They just want to set up plays with their bot lane and then have neutral objective control around Drake. So I think that's what Mowgli's going to do now. He's going to full clear and move towards bot side. So Mowgli went for that redemption rush. If you don't know why people go, you know, here comes Jankos. Ooh, good flash. If you don't know why people go for the redemption clear is for, or the redemption rush. It gives you really good, like, skirmishing ability with your laners. So so Olaf benefits really well from just like the stats bonuses that you would get just from the item itself, because he likes getting low, and then the regen is nice. But then also like just so the stats are nice that are on it, and then also like he benefits really well from the heal that comes later from the actual active on it. But then it's also really beneficial for your team, right? Having an early redemption is so nice for your team, and you can get it way faster than your support. So, and you actually have decent levels because it scales with levels. So he's already level 8, so he has a level 8 redemption, so it's going to feel pretty nice. Whereas your support would get it, and they'd be level 8 as well, but they'd get it, later in the game, and it takes them way longer to build it. So it feels really nice. So like when you're fighting with your team and you just get the extra redemption, and Olaf benefits a lot from it because he gets low and then he gets a redemption heal, so he gets an extra stats bonus while he's fighting. Oh, and that's what the Karthus Akali can do. So Akali can just go in for plays like that and kind of feel unstoppable. Because like the fights are never 1v1 because Karthus is always there, and Olaf can show up, but he's never there as fast as a Karthus is because Karthus doesn't have to be there. Yeah, so Olaf did path towards bottom, get the Earth Drake, but Karthus just gonna get the just gonna solo the Rift Herald. Still didn't get to hand over the blue buff, so that feels really bad for Jiizuké. Chug. Ooh, good trade. That's what Lucian does in one item, baby. Unfair. Yeah, so Olaf only owns this side of the map. This is what you do with the Olaf pick, though. You own a side of the map, or you own the entire map if the enemy team kind of trolls you in the draft. So something that that's why Olaf is always picked really late in the draft. Ooh. Yeah, Olaf is always picked really late in the draft. Oh, that was a terrible TP by. Oh, Cabo, no. Olaf is always picked really late in the draft because if the enemy team can get baited into picking a scaling comp, and then you can pick like winning lanes, and then you pick an Olaf, and then their jungler just gets destroyed, and their entire early game or their entire like late game comp never gets to come online because an Olaf is just running all over your team. But if you pick like an Olaf in like the first phase, then the enemy team will just pick winning lanes, and your Olaf can never get off the ground. Your Olaf will just kind of fizzle out. You can pick a winning side of the map, and with a combination of a scaling, and you can kind of shut down the Olaf. But if you pick a full scaling comp and the enemy team picks an Olaf and they just run all over you in the early game, then you get destroyed. On the flip side, if you pick the Olaf and the enemy team picks a full scaling comp and your team is bad and you don't know how to run an Olaf, then you get destroyed, which is like hashtag just NA things, you know what I'm saying? Or just 100 Thieves things. The Olaf strategy is a more difficult strategy to run. I think Vitality does it fine because their strategy for running the Olaf this game is they want a hard winning side of the map and control a quadrant of the map, control a full side of the map, which they pretty much do. They just lose the entire other side of the map. Very, very hard. And this is what GT wants to do with their comp now, right? They just want to look for these explosive mid-game team fights with their J4 Karthus and Akali. That's what they're looking for. Look at this, Karthus getting kills and taking drakes at the same time. That's what Karthus does, baby. I really think I want to say G2 pick Karthus in the first phase. It's kind of tough. Like if you're the red side team and you have to ban Karthus as a first round versus G2, like that's tough because you also have to ban. Like I feel like you also have to ban Akali, Aatrox, or not Aatrox, Akali, Urgot, whatchamacallit, maybe sneak a Karthus ban in there. You can maybe sneak a Karthus. Oh, you mean you have to ban Cassio if they don't. Interesting. Next patch will be really interesting because Akali's dead. So you can move around your bans a little bit more. So maybe you can ban Karthus in the first phase. I don't know if that helps you. Boom. Feels bad. So G2 is executing on exactly what their comp wants to do. And so at this point, Vitality's comp doesn't... I don't want to say this game's unwinnable, but it kind of is. Like, the comp doesn't really do much anymore. It's a snowball comp that didn't snowball hard enough. Like, they want to snowball their bot side really hard, and they want to snowball so hard that they're pushing inner tower at like 12 minutes. You know what I mean? No, not like 12 minutes, but you know what I mean. Like that bot is boom. You know what I mean? But it never really got to that stage. It got kind of like bot is boom, but it wasn't that hard enough. It was like bot is boom, but like, hey, we're gonna kill them anyways. But hey, our Karthus is coming down here and killing them. Our Akali is coming down here and killing them. It never got like full boom, and the bot lane needed to go full boom for them to win this game. Honestly, the bot lane needed to go full boom, but what ended up happening is bot lane went kind of boom for G2 in the early game, which was Vitality's plan. So that's not really a G2 problem. That's more of like a Vitality, like that's a benefit of what Vitality's plan was. But on the flip side, like Karthus got to do exactly what Karthus wanted to do. Akali got to do exactly what Akali wanted to do. J4 got to do exactly what J4 wanted to do the entirety of the game. So like they had 3 champions on their team that got to get exactly to their item specs that they wanted to get to, and then just they got to do exactly what they wanted to do. So they basically just got free laning phases, free jungling, and then they just got to do what they wanted to do. Felt no pressure the whole game. And that's fine. It's just that's fine. That's like what Vitality planned for, but it's just Vitality's plan didn't work well enough. They wanted to snowball. They wanted to blow up the bot lane, and the bot lane didn't blow up hard enough. They didn't crush that side of the map hard enough. So that was the problem there. They lost out on the Infernal Drake now, so now the Karthus skill's even harder. Big oof. Alright. Now we're gonna have another fight over the Infernal Drake. Boom. Perkz get a little chunked at the beginning of this fight. Leading with the Karthus ult is hilarious. I can tell you how far ahead you are. I didn't know Braum shield actually blocks the Karthus ult. I didn't know that at all. That's what I heard, at least. I didn't know that. That's pretty interesting. Yeah, so they take Infernal. You're just going to get Baron. And then now they're just going to take the... after they get Baron, they're going to take the 2 side towers just for form of gold income, right? So they're just going to take top and bottom. And you'll see G2 do this a lot. I mean, all the teams do this a lot. Whenever you get Baron, you don't just like run it down for inhibitor tower. You take all the inner towers for gold income, right? Just to get a better gold lead. And then you'll take an inhibitor tower. And they have a really decent 4-1 setup too. So with Akali, and then the 4 other people, and then Akali never feels like she's by herself. It's a me, Mario. You know, Akali never feels like she's by herself anyways. Because there's always a Karthus ulti coming in. So I'm pretty sure that's how they want to set it up, but they might set it up with Wunder instead. Or they can do 3-1-1 or 1-3-1 if they want to. Ooh, they're just setting up vision on the top side, looking for kills. Interesting. J4 doesn't actually have TP. It might just be they're just so far ahead that they're looking for everything all at once. If they like, all right, so check it out. If they weren't this far ahead, they wouldn't be this greedy. They wouldn't be like looking for 3 lanes at once, pushing inhibitor with just a J4 without TP. They wouldn't be looking for this much, but they are like they are 10k ahead with 2 Infernals. and a Baron buff at 26 minutes. So if they weren't this far ahead, they wouldn't be looking for this. Normally, they would just be. Normally, they'd probably be. Normally, they'd be grouping in one of these lanes, and then one person would be taking the side lane, or they'd be grouping for the side lane, and one person would be baroning up the inhibitor lane. So normally they wouldn't be 3-laning this up right now, or they might be 3-laning like 1-3-1, but they wouldn't be like looking for kills in the jungle like that. Probably not. Like this hard, like this Chad like. But they are very, very, very far ahead. See, this looks normal. Like this is fine. They're just playing back and baroning up the minions. Like yeah, this looks normal. Yeah, but they're so far ahead, like that they can do whatever they want. God damn. Jeez. That's been hard to watch for like Yamato Cannon. Must feels bad. It real feels bad on that one. It's alright though. Vitality had a plan and they executed on it okay. It just didn't work that good. I think the plan to beat G2 is to attack them in the early game. So I don't know what the best plan is, but Vitality's plan was they pick a winning side of the map and then they attack it really hard. Maybe I think maybe they should have banned Ezreal. Maybe I don't know. So that they have like a really hard winning side of the map. Like kind of like bait them into picking. Like bait the enemy into picking like a really scaling AD carry, like bait them into picking like Sivir or something. But there's so many champions you have to ban against G2. Next patch will be really interesting. Because the powerful solo laners are getting nerfed, you know? Like Akali won't be played anymore. Aatrox won't be played anymore. I mean Aatrox was already not getting played that much anymore. Urgot will be the king, because he didn't get touched this patch. So next patch will be really interesting. So there might be ways to beat G2, and I think the ways to beat G2 might just be attack the bottom side of the map. I don't think you win the solo lanes. So I think the way Vitality wanted to win this game was pretty smart. They drafted the winning bot lane, they drafted a really aggressive jungler, and they wanted to split the map in half for the bot side. That made a lot of sense to me. It just didn't work. You know, just GG, better team wins. You know what I mean? So next patch is interesting though. Next patch, that exact strategy might work because you might be able to ban out some different types of champions, and people are going to be incentivized to run crit marksman. You grab that Lucian in your first pick, you literally run it back on comps, not the exact same comps, but you can run back that bot lane in the Olaf and maybe run that same strategy and maybe win if you can bait them onto the Sivir comp. They don't have a champion like an Akali on the other team. Ban out the Karthus. I don't know. It's going to be interesting. G2 is a really hard team to draft against. Really scary team to draft against because they have a lot of tools in their toolkit that you have to prepare for. G2 is a really good team. But they have a lot. They have some things they can work on. They're definitely not Griffin. You watch Griffin play, and it's Griffin's good. You watch Griffin play, it's crazy. I'm gonna do some Griffin VoD reviews eventually. I haven't done any Griffin VoD reviews. I didn't want to touch Griffin because I just wanted to watch. Because Griffin's a very interesting team. Whenever you watch Griffin, you're like a fan. Even if you understand League of Legends really well, like whenever you watch Griffin, you're learning. Even if you're really good, like because they'll pull out a pick and then they pull out a pick and instead of you seeing the pick and you're like, okay, this pick makes sense because of this, they pull out the pick and you're like, okay, let me learn why this pick makes sense. Like even if you already have an idea of why this would make sense in this situation, they pull out the pick and you're like, all right, Griffin, teach me why this pick works here. Like that's like how I feel when I watch Griffin, so it's pretty cool. But anyways, that was G2 versus Vitality. I hope you found that informative. This one was a fun one to make. I felt like this one was a really good one. getting back to making VoD reviews. I love doing VoD reviews. I've been doing some champion guides, and those aren't as fun for me to make, but they get me more exposure. So, anyways, that one was fun. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. I had a lot of fun making this. So, anyways, that one was fun. I keep saying that one was fun. I'm gonna stop saying that one was fun, and I'm gonna end this video. Yeah, bye-bye. Thanks so much for watching. I'm very grateful. Bye-bye-bye. Bye-bye-bye. Where's the stop record button? Bye-bye. Oh, there you are. Bye-bye. Bye. Bye-bye. Bye. Bye.